Hey, let's start the show. It's the Nut Gallery Review.
Welcome to episode 170.
He's Jason Schulte, and I'm Sean McFadden.
Hey, yes. We're going to do things a little different. Sean's going to speak for me tonight, and I'm going to just stand here silent and nod.
That's going to be a long show, man.
All right. Well, in movie news, it was announced that the next Jurassic World Dominion, there'll be some of Dr. Alan Grant's story into that on what he's been up to since we've last seen him. So I think that's kind of an interesting, let's pull him back in.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. So that was my big news. There's actually movies this month, a few at least, for October. Starts right out on October 9th with The War with Grandpa. Sixth grader Peter is pretty much your average kid. He likes gaming, hanging with his friends, and his beloved pair of Air Jordans. But when his recently widowed grandfather, Ed, moves in with Peter's family, the boy is forced to give up his most prized possession of all, his bedroom. Unwilling to let such an injustice stand, Peter devises a series of increasingly elaborate pranks to drive out the interloper. But Grandpa Ed won't go without a fight. Soon, the friendly combatants are engaged in an all-out war with side-splitting consequences.
I did see the trailer for this. It looks entertaining. It almost seems like more of a generational conflict, like, you know, the kids and all of their stuff, and he's like, "Oh, you want to fight, huh?" So he recruits like his like old friend with him. So, yeah.
Yeah, it stars Robert De Niro, Christopher Walken, Uma Thurman. It's based on a novel by Robert Kimmel Smith. Though it doesn't feel like anything super fresh.
I mean, we're going to give him a little bit of a pass just because we haven't had movies recently. So honestly, at this point, man, I'm going to back off on most of my criticisms for new movies.
Anything's better than nothing, huh?
Something in the theaters, yes. I mean, yeah.
Also, October 9th is Honest Thief. They call him the In and Out Bandit because the meticulous thief Tom Carter has stolen $9 million from small-town banks while managing to keep his identity a secret. But after he falls in love with the bubbly Annie, Tom decides to make a fresh start by coming clean about his criminal past, only to be double-crossed by two ruthless FBI agents. It stars Liam Neeson as the Tom Carter, the thief.
He has a particular set of skills.
Hey, makes him $9 million.
I guess, yeah.
Moving on to October 16th is Two Hearts. This is rated PG-13. For two couples, the future unfolds in different decades and different places, but a hidden connection will bring them together in a way no one could have predicted. Based on an inspirational true story, Two Hearts is a romantic journey that celebrates life, love, and generosity of spirit, and that challenges audience to believe miracles are possible.
Okay. I mean, again, not normally something I'd go for, but as I said, at this point, it's a movie headed to a theater, so yay!
On October 23rd is our best, closest like Halloween-ish maybe movie, Death on the Nile. Belgian sleuth Hercule Poirot's Egyptian vacation aboard a glamorous river steamer turns into a terrifying search for a murderer when a picture-perfect couple honeymoon is tragically cut short. Set against an epic landscape of sweeping desert vistas and the majestic pyramids, this tale of unbridled passion and incapacitating jealousy features a cosmopolitan group of impeccable dressed travelers. There are enough wicked twists and turns to leave audiences guessing until the final shocking conclusion. This stars Gal Gadot. Death of the Nile reunites the filmmaking team behind the 2017 global hit Murder on the Orient Express,
which was good.
This is a sequel to that film. Kenneth Branagh returns as director and to reprise his role of Poirot, based on Agatha Christie's novel.
He was fantastic as Inspector Perot. It was really, I liked it. Did you get a chance to see that one, Jay?
No, but it did look good, and this will follow right along as a period piece too. So
Yeah, I mean it's not a new story, as they say. You know, it's based on the Agatha Christie story, but I had actually not read the Agatha Christie story, and I had not seen the old movie, so this was a completely new experience for me. And I'm guessing I wasn't the only one, but it was really quite good. I liked it.
yeah, and this looks to be very much in the same style. So I mean, it's good that they brought back the filmmaking team, and so if you liked it, I have a feeling this will follow right with the same quality.
Yeah, and I honestly, the team and everything that they had behind the Orient Express, I'm surprised it didn't get more notice. It felt like it kind of was, I guess, a sleeper hit or something to that effect, if we're going to use that terminology. But it it was a good movie that just didn't get a whole lot of attention.
And finally, on October 23rd is Connected, when Katie Mitchell, a creative outsider, is accepted into the film school of her dreams. Her plans to meet her people at college are upended when her nature-loving dad, Rick, determines that the whole family should drive Katie to school together and bond as a family one last time. So this seems like a animated version of National Lampoon's Vacation.
Yeah,
So,
or Daddy Drive Me to College or something like that. Yeah,
yeah, so everything that could go wrong goes wrong, I'm sure.
naturally.
And that's really it for October. I know a lot of the big ones have been once again kind of kicked back to November. Um, Out of this batch, I would have to say Death on the Nile is my probably most wanted to see. And
Yeah, I didn't know that one was even in the works yet. So that one, for me, absolutely, I'm gonna go see that.
DVD releases.
DVD releases. Well, week of October 6th, we've got The Tax Collector. I don't think we had talked about this, as most of our current releases coming out are not really, talked about movies there. However, I do have the bumper for this one. Wizard is a crime lord in Los Angeles who manages to keep control despite being behind bars. He employs David and Creeper as two of his tax collectors. Their job is to go out and get protection money from the local gangs. Everything starts to go wrong when an old rival of the crime lord comes into town. David Lee suddenly finds himself in a position where he has to do whatever it takes to protect what he values above all else, his family. It's got George Lopez, Shia LaBeouf in it. But yes, it is a very action-heavy movie with, well, I'll use the phrase gratuitous violence, it seems like. Next up, we have American Pie Presents Girls Rules. Hey, you could shake your head, man. It's a movie coming out.
It's still there's some series that probably should just stop.
Should stop. I mean, well, this time at least they're twisting it around, and it's the girls that are looking to score instead of the guys. So they make up the set of Girls Rules, hence the title of the movie. Next is a movie that when I brought up the trailer, my girlfriend, I believe, started leaking air, and there was a rather long squeeing sound. It's Happy Halloween Scooby-Doo. And it's got your regular Scooby-Doo cast there. It's a Halloween movie. But it's also got Elvira and, oh my gosh, I can't remember his name right now. Bill Nye the Science Guy in there as well to help them out in their adventure. Save Yourselves. A couple that decides to disconnect from technology discover an alien invasion has taken place while they were on their week-long disconnect. Watching the trailer for this, it really does look like someone was a Star Trek fan and was like, you know what, we haven't had anything to do with the tribbles in a while, because that's what the aliens look like. They look like much larger tribbles. Week of October 13th, we've got Broil. A young woman discovers that members of her family are in fact demons.
So we have one group that's disconnecting and finding aliens, and another one who just wakes up and discovers their families are demons.
Well, it's basically, they keep in the trailer for this one, they talk about a feast and everything like that. So it's essentially looking like her parents are trying to get out of the family, and their payment is her. So she's trying to basically survive being sold to the rest of her demon family.
Great.
This one looks so awful, I'm not giving it any kind of bumper. Cats and Dogs 3, Paws Unite. Yeah, not even, yeah. Then we have El Camino, a Breaking Bad movie, with, of course, the surviving characters from that series.
Surprises me this hasn't gotten more press, knowing how big Breaking Bad was.
Right?
And I think Better Call Saul is still going as a series, the spinoff series. So yeah. I just don't. It surprises me. This is the first I've heard of this.
Yeah, me as well. I can't believe that this kind of just slid through, but maybe because this is mid-month, we're gonna, start seeing commercials for it real soon. I don't know. October 20th, The Secrets We Keep. A woman spots a man she believes is the Nazi who tortured her and her family. And basically a little bit of capturing and interrogation from there. No Escape. A group of adrenaline junkies find themselves trapped by a Russian host. Scare Package. A video store owner and his regular exchange horror stories. Essentially, it's 4 mini movies that are dealing with the horror tropes that they're talking about. And then we have Tremors Shrieker Island, which, if you're a Tremors fan, you know exactly what's going on there. If you're not, well, maybe this isn't for you.
I had to watch the trailer just to see, and it actually looks better than I anticipated.
It did look better. I was expecting a very low budget kind of effect there. I mean, let's be honest. Tremors was a low budget movie. I mean, that's kind of how it got its kind of cult status. It wasn't a high budget movie, but it was funny and entertaining and scary. But it now, I mean, what, 30 years later, we're still making Tremors movies?
This is the 7th.
7? Jeez. Okay.
Yeah.
October 27th, My Hero Academia, Heroes Rising, following, of course, the anime of the same name. And then we have Attack of the Unknown.
So is that a movie, or is that just part of the series?
That is a movie.
Okay.
So what a lot of these animes do is that basically they have their series, and then they have a movie that is supposed to take place in between, like a season or two. But yeah, it's not the series, it is a standalone movie. And last movie, we have Attack of the Unknown, which basically is SWAT versus aliens. This looks like maybe late 90s sci-fi movie. Like, I mean, Sci-Fi the Channel, like Sci-Fi Original. Yeah, that kind of budget. And someone saw, the Attack on Los Angeles, and decided, you know what, we can do that, because it feels very borrowed from that movie.
Well, I've complained a few times that we don't make movies like that anymore, so I guess I almost have to support this out of my own.
Dude, if you're looking for a movie that you can tell the actors are trying to take it seriously, but you're not going to be taking it seriously, this might be for you then. And that is all of the DVDs.
Well, video games is next.
Video games I am covering because Mike is not with us. There is a long list.
And some good stuff.
And some good stuff. That is true. And I'm sorry, my nose is just so itchy tonight. I'm just going to rattle through them. We can come back through if one catches your fancy. Sound good, Jay?
Well, I would rather just go through them and talk as we go through than have to come back. But
all right. You stop me then if one you want to talk about.
All right.
All right. We've got Little Big Workshop for the Switch on October 1st. We have Warsaw for the Switch on October 1st. Wise Origin.
Did you skip right over Super Mario Brothers 35?
I was getting to that, but we can go to that now. Super Mario Brothers 35 for the Switch on October 31st.
I have your list, so I was just going through your list.
Ah, gotcha.
So yeah, Super Mario Brothers 35. That's got Mario Sunshine, Mario 64, and Mario Galaxies. Right?
Dude. Yeah. You are right. I had forgotten about that. Collecting easily, well, I mean, I'm not going to say easily because everyone has their own play style and like and love, but man, those were fantastic games.
I enjoyed all three of them. So
I didn't get to play Galaxy very much. That was one that I had borrowed from the library and had to return after a week. So, Crash Bandicoot 4, it's about time. Comes out on October 2nd for PlayStation, Xbox. And then my personal pick for the month here, Star Wars Squadrons. PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PC comes out October 2nd. Whew, man, that's going to be just... You with me on this one, Jay, or you sliding this one by?
Oh, I'm with you. I'm just wondering how many thousands of dollars EA will expect you to pay just so you can play the game properly, because it is an EA game. So
I know, and that's why I kind of tempered my my enthusiasm for it. But it looks so good. It looks so good, and it makes me feel like the old Rogue Squadron days. You know, that feeling of just, you know, navigating your dogfighter around there. It evokes that. So I'm gonna get snagged. Warsaw for the Xbox One comes out on the 2nd. Looks like Switch gets it a day early. Forgone, sorry. PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Switch on the 5th. Nickelodeon Kart Racers 2 Grand Prix comes out on everything. Baldur's Gate 3 comes to Stadia and PC October 6th. That's another kind of reaching back there. Do you play the Baldur's Gate series at all, Jay?
I did. They're good games.
They are good games. I feel bad that that's one of those series that I enjoyed, I played, I put hours into. I haven't beaten either one.
No, me either.
They're so long. I Am Dead, Switch and PC on the 8th. Ikenfell, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, PC, everything basically on the 8th. Ride 4 on the 8th as well. Ben 10 Power Trip for everything on the 9th. FIFA 21, Jay, for everything sans the Switch on the 9th there.
Probably we usually skip a year here every other year just because.
So is this the year you skip?
Yeah.
Gotcha. We've got the Survivalists for everything. G.I. Joe Operation Blackout for everything on the 13th.
So I thought this looked pretty good. It seems like about time we got a good G.I. Joe game.
Like the last one I remember, and I'm not a big G.I. Joe like follower or anything, but wasn't that on like the NES?
I think so. There's maybe a couple that we just didn't know about, but I'm a little concerned with the art style on this. It seems more like Crackdown.
The cell shading style.
Yeah.
I mean, It does make it so that at least it's seen as intentional art styles that has lent life to games, further down the road, if that's what they're going for. Or maybe they were just like, hey, we like the cell shading.
Yeah,
who knows?
it's possible.
Torchlight 3 comes to PlayStation, Xbox, and PC on the 13th. Big fantasy RPG there. Cloudpunk, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch on the 15th. Monster Truck Championship on everything except the Switch.
Raji. Monster Truck games, they feel like they should be so good, and they always seem to just disappoint. Just like you feel like this is gonna be great. I get to drive this monster truck, smash stuff, and it just never like pans out the way it just always feels like there's just a wonky mechanic or a control, or it just the impact isn't right. It just always feels like there's just always something missing.
Here's my feeling on them, because I've played them. They never have the depth you really want, and I think if they came out with Monster Truck Championship, and they came out with hey, you can download it on whichever service you have there, and put like a $24 price tag on it, I think we'd all eat it up. But they're charging full retail price for this, and as you said, it never feels like a full retail price game.
Even ones that you're like, this looks really good, I think they got it right. You play it and you're like, oh, really?
Yep.
You just missed the mark again.
Yep.
So hopefully this one finds a way to overcome that, but
we shall see. Raji, an ancient epic, comes to everything except the Switch on the 15th. Space Crew comes to everything on October 15th.
And I wasn't quite sure on this one, because it seems like I wasn't quite sure what the gameplay is. If it's like time management, like you have to get your people to the right spots of the ship to do the right things at the right times, like shoot guns, or I just wasn't quite sure. Because there's parts of the trailer that I was like, oh, that looks pretty good. And then there's parts of the trailer that I was like, oh, I'm not sure that that's going to play out. It seemed like it might be very one-dimensional.
Did you ever play FTL?
No.
FTL, Faster Than Light. That's kind of what this reminds me of a little bit. And it's, as you said, you're not entirely sure. I'm pretty sure it's a crew management game, but their trailer is not real great at kind of getting that across. Tears of Avia, Xbox One and PC on the 15th. Mario Kart Live Home Circuit for the Switch on October 16th. And I'll admit I don't know about this one, so sorry. NHL 21 comes out for the PS4 and the Xbox. Amnesia Rebirth for PlayStation 4 and PC on the 20th. Remothererd Broken Porcelain. That's a really big name, and I don't have a clue on that one, but it's coming out for everything on the 20th. ScourgeBringer coming to Xbox One, Switch, and PC on the 21st. Pokemon Sword and Shield: The Crown Tundra for the Switch on the 22nd. Transformers Battlegrounds, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC, which if you are a Transformers fan, you're kind of excited about it.
Yeah, I'm once again kind of set myself to be disappointed, so hopefully it's better than my expectations.
Did you play the last one?
No.
Okay, because the last one actually was reviewed pretty well, and people said that it was actually a good game, even if you weren't a Transformers fan.
Oh, so, good. Hopefully.
Carto coming to PS4 and PC on the 27th. Ghost Runner, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PC on the 27th. Legend of Heroes: Trail of Cold Steel 4 on PlayStation 4 on the 27th. Watch Dogs Legion, PS4, Xbox One, Stadia, and PC on the 29th. And finally, we have Pikmin 3 Deluxe on the Switch on the 30th.
I'll just say Watch Dogs has always been. I enjoy the game. I think some of the missions are a little wonky, but I like the open world games, so sandbox games. So I've always enjoyed the Watchdog games.
Nice. And see, for me, Pikmin 3, because I loved Pikmin 1 and 2. And I didn't have a Wii U, so I haven't played Pikmin 3. So I'm kind of eyeing this a little bit, even though I don't have a Switch. But those are all of your video game releases for the month.
Yeah, it's a pretty good list.
It's a big list, too. So, I mean, movies may be dropping the ball, but at least video games are kind of picking up and running with it.
Well, I'm wondering if that's the last big hurrah before new systems get released. They're trying to push them out quick.
Well, it's also, I mean, it's the October push to get it out there for holiday season. I mean, we may not want to think about it, but I mean, this is right when you start putting stuff out for Christmas. I mean, October, November, that's it.
Yep.
Because when you put them out in December, it's pretty much what you couldn't get out in time is what most people kind of think. Or at least that's what I've seen in my past. But that's it. That is what you've got.
So movie classic was my pick this month. And I kind of surprised Sean when I told him what my pick was, because it's kind of deviates a little bit from our pattern of either Disney or action film. So I kind of picked a female-friendly film that guys don't mind watching.
That's not a bad way to describe it.
I picked Coyote Ugly from 2000. So it's just the 10 years old to meet our criteria. It stars.
If it was from 2000, you've got more than enough.
Yeah. Never mind. It's 20. so surprisingly, it's 20 years old, right? I guess.
Yeah.
Here I was thinking it was 10 years old, but it's 20 years old. Aspiring songwriter Violet Sanford, after getting a job at a woman-run New York City bar that teases its male patrons, comes out of her shell. So she's from a small town, was kind of the star of her small town. Oh, look, I can do this quick.
Oh, look at you.
So she's kind of the star of her small town. She has her name on the famous board of people that have left and never come back. And she's on her way to New York to do big things with her music talent. Gets there and finds out it's harder than it looks or seems or she ever imagined. And ends up kind of down on her luck and ends up working for this bar that brings her well out of her comfort zone. And then, it is rated PG-13, so it's pretty friendly for all. It kind
of has to be.
Yeah. I guess that's kind of the rundown of the movie. I picked it because I thought it's entertaining, has a pretty good story of her being down on her luck and finding a way and friends coming to her aid, even friends that she didn't think maybe would help her. Of course, a boyfriend gets in the mix, and there's a little love story that goes along with it, and some opportunities there to screw things up too. And then it becomes the feel-good movie that you enjoy watching.
Yeah. So when you told me this movie, I kind of went, all right, okay, yeah, all right. I've seen Coyote Ugly before, and how shall I put this? I probably had seen it before under duress. And so I was like, okay, all right, I can suck this up. Jane wants to have this movie. All right. I don't think that I enjoyed it as much as I did this time. There were parts that were just genuinely funny, especially any scene that John Goodman, who is playing, our starlet's father, is in. Oh my God, he easily steals the show of any scene he's in. It's ridiculous. Um, and even if it's just him making motions in the background or whatever, fantastic. The casting of John Goodman in this was spot on. Um, Surprising was that um, the rest of the casting I thought was actually hitting right on it as well. The boyfriend um, veered a little bit away from the quote unquote good boyfriend, but it was entertaining. He was funny. He was uh, dare I say smooth, um, but it was a good casting, good story. Um, I actually really enjoyed this movie. I didn't think that I was going to really get into this. I was going to say, all right, yeah, it's a good movie. It's not my type of movie, but you should watch it. I genuinely enjoyed it. I did like it. As Jay said, there are plenty of scenes of them kind of dancing on the bar, and there's nothing too lewd there, but it's quite clear that they are dancing seductively to work up the crowd a little bit there. So there is that. Um, I found a little bit funny when this came out that they were toting this with Tyra Banks, who's in it for all of like 5 minutes and disappears. um, but yeah, it surprisingly good comedy and good writing. I didn't really remember that or expect that from this movie. I was expecting them to kind of play pretty heavily on the sex appeal, and that it was actually a entertaining film kind of caught me by surprise, and I was really laughing pretty good at a lot of the scenes.
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess one of the things, having rewatched it and kind of watching the characters and the story, is it comes across, a lot of the characters come across very genuine. You don't always get that in a movie. Like the bar owner herself, she seems very genuine when she's like helping her, even though she screws up, and she says, "Fine, you have to pay me back for this." So the next night she earns the money to pay her back, and earns her job back each night, basically there for a while. So I thought that was, I mean, even the boyfriend, and you kind of had some comments on him, but I felt like he was genuine in the delivery of that character was very genuine.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, he's a believable character. He's not, how do I really want to word this? He's not the rom-com, trip over my feet love interest that we see, or the perfectly smooth guy, though that is exactly what he presents himself at the beginning. So that's almost comical in the fact that that's how he presents himself, and then that quickly kind of that image is destroyed and the real him comes forward. So
yeah, and there's just a couple like lines in the movie that are, I've worked as a bartender in the last 20 years. Many of those years is a fill-in or part-time guy that helps out. And, every time someone orders of water, I like do a double take, like, do we serve water here? Especially people that you can joke with, and that they're going to get the reference. I've had
H2O.
Yeah, I've had some good laughs on that particular line from the movie that people get when I say, "Oh, do we serve water here?" And then they kind of look at you. I'm like, "Yeah." And there's also the scene at the end that is just priceless with John Goodman up on the bar.
Yes. Okay, I was curious where you were going with that.
Helping earn some money along the way. And there's a line where a lady shouts, "Take it off!" And he takes it off, and she's like, "Put it back on."
Oh, yeah, and that's funny is watching through this, how many actors from Mad TV were in here? Because I believe at my count going through this, there were 5 actors from Mad TV. The one who says the line, "Take it off," "No, put it back on," that was one of them.
And John Goodman admitted that he took the role just because he needed money.
Yes.
So you wouldn't necessarily know that from his performance. I thought his performance was pretty good.
Well, as long as you're going to throw out some John Goodman trivia, I'll hit you with one myself. The fact that the test audiences really reacted well, just like I did to him. So they brought him back and cut in some more scenes of him.
Good. Leanne Rimes does all the singing. So they do a lot of voiceover work with her. And I've actually been in the Coyote Ugly bar in Las Vegas. I just like walked in the door and walked back out type thing.
Just say you've done it.
Yeah. The first week there was a 3-year-old with us in a stroller. So not really a place you're going to go in, but
no, you're not going to find a table.
No. But there's a whole chain of them across the world. So the original one opened in New York in 1993. So about 7 years before this was made. No. Yeah.
That would math correctly if it was made in 2000. Yeah.
Yeah. The soundtrack album was on the top 40 album chart for over a year and sold.
Isn't that crazy?
Sold 3 million copies. And for those that don't know or haven't seen this, Coyote Ugly actually refers to, and it's explained in the movie, waking up after a one-night stand and discovering that the person beside you is so ugly that you would rather gnaw your arm off or limb that they're sleeping on just to get away without being discovered. So, and that's explained in the movie a little bit. So it does come around to why it's called what it is and the bar's called what it is. And, but there's also just some really like moments that feel very true. Like they have a really big night and everyone out and they have to go out because they're just so amped up after doing this all night, that they have to go out themselves, or they're in one scene they're cleaning because it's just that their adrenaline's still pumping that it takes a while to calm down. I've never been in a bar situation like this, but I've been in bartending situations where it's hard to calm down because you've just been busy and it's a lot of activity.
Adrenaline's pumping.
Yeah. So I appreciated those kind of like, I understand these moments and I understand how hard it would be to calm down after, a performance like this. It'd be much like performing on stage and just going home and going to bed isn't really an option. You kind of have to unwind a bit.
Yep.
So I enjoy the movie. I've watched it many times over the last 20 years. Always find it entertaining. I feel like the story is pretty genuine. So it was my pick and I stand behind it. So.
No, I won't fight you on this one. I agree. I remember just being like, okay, with the movie, probably the first time I'd seen it. This time I genuinely did enjoy it, especially the writing, which this, is kind of seen as a, quote unquote romantic adventure kind of thing. They didn't have to throw in the comedy and the quips and, the quick wit, but it really worked well.
So what have we been up to lately?
Oh, go ahead.
I've picked up an old Babylon 5 novel, so I've been reading that. It's good. It's actually good. It centers around, the main characters of Sheridan, Ivanova, and Garibaldi. But it also flushes out some more of the universe a little bit. So that was fun. I've been doing some painting. I had surgery on my shoulder, so that kind of laid me up a little bit. So I played some Minecraft because I could sit with a mobilized shoulder and not have to move a lot on the controller.
Nice.
So I played some Minecraft. I think that's probably about it. Been watching some movies. I watched Absolution, which was a direct-to-DVD Seagal movie.
Oh boy.
It's exactly what you would think and expect. And I watched, what did I watch? I watched both versions of Carrie.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I was, wanting to see, the 76, the one made in 76 is revered as a classic and one of Stephen King's favorite adaptations of his work. And then
has it really been 76?
Yep.
Damn, it doesn't feel that. I mean, I know it's a classic, and as you said, it is revered, but I didn't think that was a 76. Now, go on, though.
And so then watching the 2013 and seeing how they updated it, and surprisingly, the things that the 1976 film kind of took liberties with, they did the same in 2013 version. So it was kind of like, they played on some of that classic and said, well, if it worked for them, let's do it ourselves. So
fair.
They kind of amped up her power a little bit, which was good and bad.
Wasn't that a little closer to the book then?
I don't know. They gave her the ability to kind of create fire, which wasn't really in the books to my recollection. But the director actually went through and said all the scenes where her power is on display, she rated it on like what level her power was, so that they had this like framework to say, okay, that was like her TP level 5 or telekinesis level 5. And in this scene, it's going to be her level 2. So it's not as, so they could kind of gauge on how much for power they were going to display it in each scene. So I enjoyed both those films, watching them again. It was kind of my, like, this is going to be my Halloween watching a little early.
Nice. That wrap you up there?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. As far as video games, I have still been enjoying the Deep Rock Galactic, the dwarf mining game. Still having some fun with that. Necromunda did come out as well. Been enjoying that, which is really, really pretty. I mean, they really went with the graphics there. I have not gotten too deep into the story because I was kind of warned that they were fixing some glitches, so I wanted to wait to enjoy it until it was pristine. But I am currently about 3 missions in on that. As far as reading, I just
does it play like Mordheim, or do they do their own?
I mean, it has elements that you can kind of recognize a little bit. But you have, kneeling, you have, interacting with things there, like interacting with like zip lines and everything to navigate around, or navigating with elevators and things like that.
So is it is it still you move a player and you move the next one?
Yeah,
that's squad based.
That's actually one of the kind of cool things that they don't explain, but you kind of pick it up as you go along. You pick one of your fighters, and then as long as you guys have the same, number, your opponent picks a fighter. And then who moves first is who has the higher initiative. So, if you want to go really quick, pick one of your, your faster gangers, and you'll get first action. Though, naturally, your quicker fighters are not usually your ones packing the big punch. So, you have to kind of balance that out there a little bit. They had a little bit of technical issues on launch there. The console, I believe, had a little bit of corrupting going on with your save file, which they have since fixed. So that is good news. But yeah, the Necromunda game is it's really good so far. I'm really liking it. So yeah, there are elements to the the quote unquote takeaway from Mordheim, because it is not a direct from tabletop to video game translation. They do takes a little bit of liberties with it. Reading, I picked up today Jim Butcher Battleground. Yes. Of course, the latest in the Dresden series there, and been quite excited about this. Basically, he made a book that was too large for him to publish as one unit. He basically said that if they tried to publish it as one book, it was going to be a $60 book, and he was like, that's not okay. So he released Peace Talks earlier, and now we have Battleground, kind of the second half of that book. So I'm really excited to finish that off.
So he released two books that were $30 a piece.
I mean, yeah.
So it's still $60.
I mean, they're 25, but still.
It's 50 instead of 60. I'm glad he saved you $10.
Oh, all right. Well, however he wanted to do it. And then been trying to catch up on crap. Can't remember the name of the show right now. I'm spacing completely on it. I am sorry. Oh my God. It's on Netflix. Bloody hell.
Well, I've been still watching Big Bang, so.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What series are you on there?
We're on season 4.
Nice.
It's when they introduced the two other girlfriends, so Sheldon's girlfriend and Wolowitz's girlfriend. So
that works. Oh man. And I it's the one where they're all born. Umbrella Academy. Bloody hell. That was way harder than it should have been. But yeah, enjoying season 2 of that as they go through there. Also kind of continuing my adventure of my girlfriend and my daughter through Avatar: The Last Airbender. So we're almost finished with season 1 there. But that has been the primary focus of everything.
Well, that's a lot, Miles. Well, I guess until next time.
Good night, everybody.